Hello and welcome once again to We've Got No Idea What We're Going to Say with Ben Simmons and Nick Murphy.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
And I feel that this is a controversial broadcast, isn't it?
Well, there is controversy, and it's happened about this broadcast.
Regular listeners may be upset to realise that it's not Monday right now.
Isn't it?
No, I mean, those of us that are able to recognise the days of the week will know that it's a Thursday evening.
Oh, I've never been able to recognise the days of the week. But you're right, it is. I've recognised it now.
I saw it walking along the street the other day from the other side of the road. And I was like,
no,
that's Thursday.
No.
I did. I didn't, I'm
the
sorry.
Controversiality of it is that we're not funny.
Yeah. Is that controversial or is that something we've always known? Welcome, lovely, lovely listeners, once again to We've Got No Idea What We're Going to Say. We're here with you for the next hour live on Ignite Radio, and it's surely going to be glorious. As ever, please get in touch with the show. There are a multitude of ways that you can do that, and let me just go through those with you, just so you're aware of them. There is our email address, obviously, which is info@wgni.co.uk, and feel free to give us messages on there. Alternatively, you can find our Facebook page, WGNI, search that on Facebook and leave us lovely messages. If you're fortunate enough to be friends with myself and Nick Murphy on Facebook, leave us personal Facebook messages or posts on our walls. And, as ever, we have that tweeting thing you can do too, @WGNI Radio. I think that's almost everything. Oh, no.
There's a lot of ways to get in touch with us.
But I have omitted that if you also have our phone numbers, you can send us texts if you want to.
Well, that's crazy, because people have to have our phone numbers. They have to know us beforehand.
And like Nicole C did about 10 days ago, if you have our phone number and you have Snapchat, send us pictures on Snapchat. We like those.
Don't send them to me, because I can't get Snapchat to work.
You've got a weird problem with Snapchat, haven't you, where for no reason at all it doesn't register on your device.
Doesn't seem to activate on my device, but, you know, Snapchat Ben.
Yeah, so there you go. So 2 minutes 45 in, and I don't think it can get any worse.
Well, this is very much the low point, I like to think. And from here, let's go downhill.
Yeah. I think we should tell the listeners that slightly excitingly, we've been somewhere even more exciting than the word slightly excitingly last weekend.
Well, being as we are radio DJs,
yes.
I think it's important, being a radio DJ, a top radio DJ on a top channel like Ignite Radio, to visit all the top music festivals around the top United Kingdom. Yeah,
that is a top thing to do. And we did visit one such music festival on the Isle of Wight. We've been to the Isle of Wight Festival.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
But also, not just like we bought tickets and went along and bought a tent and camped in a field and experienced it in that way. We were asked, nay honoured, to perform at the Isle of Wight Festival.
I was honoured, nay asked to perform at the Isle of Wight Festival.
You just made a neighing noise all weekend, which was strange, really.
Well, obviously, the show was brilliant. We really enjoyed performing there. We got to go on very shortly after Milton Jones, didn't we?
We got to speak to Milton Jones.
We did have a speak to him. If you listen to our podcast that we do occasionally,
well,
you'll hear us talking to Milton Jones.
And you will have known for weeks now, we've been going on about Series 4 being about to start. I think it's fair to say that Series 4 is imminent and is going to feature podcasts where we talk to Milton Jones and other such celebrities.
I'm quite pleased that we managed to get to talk to him. We were basically just in a field in the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, that was nothing to do with the festival. He was just wandering along, came out from behind a tree. And
Completely
we were like,
got the wrong
Milton
side of the island.
He was like, I think I'm supposed to be at the festival. I'm a bit lost.
We were like, so are we. What a massive... You're on just before us.
Yeah, that's completely ridiculous, but it happened. You know, you weren't there. You can't denounce it. You can't doubt us. We wouldn't lie.
We've had our first message in from a...
Well, that's nice. It's nice to know just that people are listening.
It is nice to know that people are listening, and I have to do a big shout out to Cara Jenkins, who's listening all the way from, I think, Gloucestershire.
That's fantastic.
And she's told me that her bottom muscles hurt.
Well, always good to share that kind of information. Thanks for that, Cara.
Apparently she's been to pole dancing classes, that's why.
Ah, right. Mine hurt for a different reason. Cara, could you... Oh, well, maybe you don't have to tell us. Maybe Nick already knows this, because I'm not friends with Cara on Facebook. I haven't worked with her. Why is her Facebook name Cara Hero Jenkins?
She's a hero?
What, like a superhero?
I wouldn't call her a superhero, but definitely a hero.
Right, fair enough. Well, there you go. So she fights crime?
She fights sort of people who are a bit rude.
She's sort of one level down from a superhero.
I said she wasn't a superhero.
She doesn't suffer fools gladly. Is that fair to say?
If the photocopy is out of paper, you could literally just assume that she will be there to sort it.
Well, it's nice to know you need those people just to keep society going.
She's a hero.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. We also need to say a big hello to someone who employs us on a yearly basis.
Well, that's crazy. People employ us?
Believe it or not, they do. That's how we got to be at the Isle of Wight Festival.
Hey.
That was as Shotgun Impro, our legendary impro group, and the person that employs us also employs our legendary impro group, Shotgun Impro. A big hello to the lovely Abby Gerard.
Hey, Abby Gerard's listening.
She's got the same surname as Stephen Gerrard, but she's not related to him.
She's got the first name as Abby, as an Abbey.
You're floundering there.
Yeah,
that
was a serious floundering.
She's got the same first name as other people called Abbey, and the same first name as the surname of Westminster Abbey.
Other famous people called Abbey?
Westminster Abbey.
That's not a famous person, and it's an Abbey.
Abby Clancy, Peter Crouch's, I think now wife, who's a model who's been in FHM and stuff like that.
Okay, fairly famous. Abby Clancy, Abby. Titmus!
It just gives you a chance to say Titmus, so you must be excited about that.
It's good to know that we've named two Abbeys who've been in FHM, and one of them isn't Abby Clancy. So, well done for getting into FHM,
Abby Gerard agreed to that photo shoot. Yeah, that's brilliant. Cara Jenkins has said that she does wear her pants on the outside.
I think that's just to save on laundry, though. But
yeah, is she referring to the outside as having been released from prison?
Yes.
So she wears pants now she's been released from prison.
The irony was she was put in prison for public nudity. So there was.
Well, that just shows that prison does reform people. So that's
prison
good.
Works.
Yeah.
Thanks to Cara Jenkins.
Absolutely fantastic. We've had another message from even regular enemy of the show, Lauren DaCosta, and he said Nick ducked the issue there. An honest £1. I think. Having read ahead, I think Lauren's in trouble here. An honest £1 if he can actually say who Stephen Gerrard is.
Now then, I think I can say quite a bit about him.
Before you say anything, right, I will just confirm to Lauren and everybody else listening out there that whilst we do have access to computers and Facebook and such, Nick is not looking anywhere on the internet for information. I absolutely guarantee that.
But I do remember, I'm going to say Stephen Gerrard, he's a football player. I want to say, obviously, I think he's captain England, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the current England captain.
This is where I'm not sure. Does he play for Liverpool?
Do you know, for a complete football heathen like Nick Murphy, that's the equivalent of you winning Mastermind.
But
I'm actually impressed.
I think the only reason I know about Stephen Gerrard is you talked. I can remember. I think we talked about him on a podcast or something or other,
possibly
maybe about 2-3 years ago. And you said how. I think you were talking about Stephen Gerrard's autobiography.
Yeah, I might.
And I said, "Who's Stephen Gerrard?" And you were disgusted that I didn't know who he was.
So, Lauren, if you'd have known Nick about 3 years ago when we recorded that podcast, you might have won £1. But now I think it's fair to say you owe Nick £1.
So yeah, £1 from Lauren DaCosta, who, as many people will know, is based in North London as well. So get your ass over here and give me £1.
Well, that would be nice if he gave you £1 during the show. Then it couldn't really accrue any interest whatsoever.
No, because if as soon as the show ends, interest will be added to it. We have had some more messages. Cara Jenkins has added to the conversation earlier about her pants, that she wears them on the outside. The fact that the coppers loved it when she didn't wear pants on the inside. Were you in a women's prison? That's, I think, the important thing to know. Abby Gerard, not Stephen Gerrard, has also messaged in to say that, and I don't really understand this. This is only a phrase that I heard about an hour ago for the first time.
Okay.
Abby says that being in FHM is on my bucket list.
Yeah? Oh, you've never heard of that?
I heard that phrase about an hour ago for the first time.
You got to do it before you die.
What is that? What it is?
Yeah,
a list of things to do before you die.
Kick the bucket. Your bucket list is the things you want to do before you kick the bucket.
Who came up with that? The bucket list. I've never heard that.
Ron Bucket, his name was.
No, he didn't.
You don't know?
No, I don't.
Still, is there anything that you can think of that's on your bucket list? Now you know what bucket list actually means. Do you want to be an FHM?
Do I want to be an FHM?
What's the female equivalent? Something like cosmopolitan? Do you want to be in that?
I don't think the equivalent of FHM for women is cosmopolitan.
I think I've just shown my ignorance about female literature and magazines. If you're female and are currently listening to the show, what's the female equivalent of FHM? I'd like to know just for research purposes.
I couldn't imagine it. But no, I think this is a challenge by the end of the show. We both have to name 5 things we want to do before we die.
Right, fair. I can tell you one of them.
Go on then.
I want to go to a film premiere in London of a film that I'm in. Not just that I've been invited to.
And now I can't have that because you've had it.
Well, you can have it, but everyone will go, he's just jumping on the bandwagon.
He is. Oh, yeah, they will. Lauren DaCosta will say that.
And he'll say it under his breath like that. Can I say Lauren DaCosta's been back in touch with the show and has said that with that pound he owes you, he'll pay you 1p a year.
Well, that's good. He's obviously quite optimistic about my chances of surviving until I'm 135 years old.
Well, there have been a lot of advances in medical science, so, it is possible. Although, let's face it, if we all start living to 135, state pensions are going to be knackered, aren't they?
Cara Hero Jenkins has messaged in. First of all, to say that, no, she wasn't in a women's prison. So I don't think it was the coppers that just loved it. But I think she's wrong here, and I'm going to just take a moment. I'm going to say something that, it's not explicit, but it's mentioning something explicit. RedTube. Apparently that's the female equivalent of FHM.
I don't know if that's true,
I think she may be wrong. Yeah. And apparently I sound very young. Which, ironically, Cara Jenkins likes to remind me how old I am. So
there's a nice bit of irony there. And although it seems like only 2 people are listening to the show, Abby Gerrard has been back in touch and said, please don't ever let Cosmopolitan put Nick in their magazine.
Oh, Abby Gerrard, that's not very nice.
It's not nice, but it's amusing, and I agree with her.
Yeah.
You should only ever be allowed in the Beano.
Mind you, can I just say about Cosmopolitan, I put their drink in me.
Yeah.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
It's a cocktail.
Is it?
I'm sorry.
I've heard of Neapolitan ice cream. What's in a Cosmopolitan cocktail?
Isn't it a Cosmopolitan?
I don't know.
It's a drink, a Cosmopolitan.
Well, what's in it?
Right,
You've made my voice go high now. Can you hear how outraged I am?
You sound high and old. I think the listeners should message in with what makes a Cosmopolitan cocktail.
Yeah, well, we've managed to hear about female prisons, so why not hear about cocktails? We've heard about female prisons, women's magazines. It's the next obvious step is cocktails.
I still can't think of an equivalent for FHM, but I'm going to have a think about what I'm going to do, because I don't think I should pick what you've picked.
All right.
But I will pick 5 things to do before I die. I don't like the phrase bucket list. It's a bit upsetting.
Well, whether you like it or not isn't really up for a question, is it?
No, I suppose not really. But there's a terribly coarse phrase that uses the word bucket, and I can't help but associate that.
There are some things that throughout your life you hear an expression and it taints your life forever.
It does taint your life.
It's like my dad told me about a hilarious joke from the 70s and 80s.
Now, hang on. Your dad told you. Is it hilarious? I love you, Keith, but is it?
No, this is, well, potentially hilarious but extremely offensive. And it was revolving around an advertising campaign for Thai food tea, where it was Thai food put the ooh in Britain.
Right.
And it was, if Thai food put the ooh in Britain, who put the something in Scunthorpe? And I can't ever go to Scunthorpe or see the word Scunthorpe without thinking of that now.
No, I think you're right. Aria, a long-time listener of the show, Aria Esther Carrier, has messaged in.
Oh, that's nice to know.
She would say that Cosmopolitan is the female equivalent. Well, Aria Carrier, you're wrong. But it's definitely not RedTube, which I do agree with.
Yeah, and Pornhub's better than RedTube anyway.
What's that? I wouldn't know.
It's just Google it. You'll find out.
All right.
I think it's probably.
We don't advocate the use of Google.
Other search engines are available. I think we need to have a random song.
I think that's a good point.
Should we
just before we do, Lainey Boyle says Keith rocks.
Is she talking about Keith Simmons, Keith Lemon, Keith Flint from The Prodigy? You know, it could be anybody.
Simmons.
Right. In that case, she's absolutely right. Here's a random song.
Give me your attention, baby.
Well, there we go then. That was a bit of Bruno Mars and Treasure. So, Nick, inspired by that song, have you ever found any treasure?
I found any treasure? I remember going on a pirate ship when I was a kid, but it wasn't really a pirate ship. It was one where like a man was dressed up like a pirate, not a Somalian pirate. And there was a thing where you could dig for treasure, and really it was like scratching around with sticks in the ground.
Was that somewhere near Scarborough?
It might well have been.
I think I may have been to the same thing.
Don't be ridiculous.
My dad did summer seasons in Scarborough when I was about 6 and 7.
I went to Scarborough a lot as a child. I grew up in Yorkshire.
I'm pleased for you. It was a nice part of the world.
Probably the same.
The Futurist Theatre's in Scarborough.
Anyway, you could dig on the ground and suddenly people would find what they call doubloons.
Yeah, I must have been to the same place.
How have we not done this?
Maybe when we were both 7, we were scrabbling around on the floor next to each other trying to steal small coins.
What's weird is we could have been there at the same time.
That is a bit weird.
That's a bit freakish. Yeah. But I remember digging and I found one, and then obviously, and I didn't realise the pirate was actually going behind you and threw the coin down on the ground that you were scratching, because I was like, they just suddenly appear. And then he clearly went round so that everybody got one. But then, as it came to me again, he'd obviously forgotten he'd done it with me, so I got 2, and he looked gutted. He was like, well done. Well done. I'm like, you didn't remember. I'm
slightly emotional and aroused at the thought that we both went to a similar child's attraction when we were younger.
I'm glad that's what you said. I was worried where you were going with that.
I think we need to say hello to some other people that have been in touch during that random
song.
In charge of this programme. Hang on. We've got to say a special hello once again to Alex Kaffet-Zoglu, who I can now pronounce his name very comfortably.
You have no problem now. I can tell. You just sort of just go... Kaffet-Zoglu, it's not a problem.
But you've done it. That was one of your best ever times. Well done.
We haven't rated them.
Because, Alex, you may or may not believe this, but we sit at home late at night trying to pronounce your name.
We actually do.
We don't.
No.
But Alex messaged the show and said, he's a bit late. Have I missed anything? Yes, you have, Alex. It's been going for about 20 minutes.
You missed the best part of it.
I'm not gonna kind of
uphill from now on.
Recap anything.
No, let's not recap. People have messaged us.
Well, that's always nice to get messages. Do you want to tell us anything about them?
Yes, I've got a message from a man that has just really burst into our lives in the last sort of week or so.
He sort of forced himself upon us, really, didn't he?
Quite harshly.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is a regular friend to myself and Nick Laney Boyle, who is a legend and will always be a legend. She got married to Nigel Boyle.
We were at the wedding, so we sort of met him then, but a bit rude. He was sort of busy and didn't sort of spend that much time with us.
Yeah.
At the wedding.
Yeah, it was almost like he didn't really know us and wasn't that interested in anything we had to say.
Rude.
At his own wedding. But then he forcibly came along to the Isle of Wight festival with his wife and quite literally turned out to be bloody hilarious.
And his message to say that he thinks that Nick, puts the head in dickhead. So
I think those of you who know Nick Murphy and have ever done a show with him will understand the problems he has finding hats to fit his head. When he's walking along the street, you don't think there's a man with a large head, but he just looks like a regular man walking along.
Talking about the size of my head.
Well, Nigel will be pleased.
Now, if Cara Jenkins is still listening, and we don't know if she is, she might be able to tell you a story about...
When
trying
you
to
say,
find a cap that fits.
When you say she might be able to tell you a story...
I could tell it as well, but I want Cara to tell it.
But anyone who's interested then has to go and find Cara in Gloucestershire to hear a story about your hat.
I'm hoping she's listening and is going to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's clearer now. Yeah, that's
we've got
better.
Another message to say that Joel and Emma Mellinger are listening, so that's quite exciting.
Well, we met Emma Mellinger last week.
We did. We met Emma Mellinger for the first time. Was it last Saturday?
No, it was last Friday, yes.
At the Zoo, London Zoo. Part of Shotgun Impro show there.
Shotgun Impro performing at Zoo Lates every Friday night at London Zoo until August the 2nd.
We've done a lot of shows with Shotgun recently. We've got the Zoo, we've got the Isle of Wight. It's been quite an exciting time to be part of Shotgun Impro.
And we've got regular monthly shows coming up again in the autumn at the Miller in London Bridge. Visit shotgunimpro.com for more details. Shameless plug.
I don't know if I've put the dates of the autumn shows on shotgunimpro.com yet, so... keep visiting it.
Yeah. All right, I will do. We've had more messages to the show, and therefore we feel duty-bound to read them out. something that's come says, how could you possibly think that joke was Typhoon put the oo in Britain? There is no oo in Britain. There is a T in Britain. So Typhoon put the T in Britain, and then who put the whatever it is in Scunthorpe. And it says that's from Ross and Sophie on the Isle of Wight in Ryde, but it's come via Keith in Dartford.
Oh,
so
regular listener to the show.
Yeah, thanks for that slightly convoluted message and the strange long way I explained it.
What was he trying to say? He was saying you said that Typhoon put the oo in Britain.
Yeah.
Keith, or more specifically Ross and Sophie, are saying
that advertising campaign was Typhoon, if Typhoon put the T in Britain. Yeah, so I do stand completely corrected about that, although I do find that whole thing a little bit picky.
So some people put the oo in Typhoon, but Typhoon put the T in Britain, which means they're basically I-foo.
That is exactly what it means, and it doesn't really relate to Scunthorpe in any way.
Do you think we'll get a big box of tea from mentioning them so much on our radio show?
Only if anybody from Typhoon's marketing department is listening and feels pleased about the positive way we've talked about their product.
It's nice tea.
Other tea is available. There's
but
PG
no better tea.
Tetley.
It's the best tea.
Sainsbury's own brand.
Sainsbury's own brand. I love that. Tetley, PG Tips, Typhoon, and Sainsbury's own brand.
When I think about tea bags, I think about the big three and Sainsbury's.
And Typhoon.
And Sainsbury's own. My nearest supermarket now is a Sainsbury's to where I live, so I forget about others.
Good Lord, that's exciting.
We've gone from talking about Cara Jenkins' pants to Sainsbury's.
I think we've gone very, very wrong somewhere.
Yeah, but I think that also does indicate the random nature of this show and the fact that we don't know what's going to turn up next.
Yep, it's a wild ride, and you're on it with us. That's what I like to say. And
slightly weirdly and dirtily feeling, I'm on it with you.
Dirtily feeling?
There's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
If that's not a phrase, it really should be.
I'm slightly upset that there's a regular listener to the show I know listening who hasn't actually direct messaged us yet and has just said listening.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Snapchatting, regular listener.
Get us started.
Slightly flirtatious. We bloody love it. Nicole Ansey.
Oh, don't say a name. You've ruined it.
I was about to start a new sentence. Nicole Ansey is also listening. I just had a strange inflection in my voice at the time.
That was a strange inflection.
Yeah, nobody can
you
prove
ruined the game.
Anything else. So, I'd like to
Send
do
us
this.
a Snapchat, Nicole. To Ben, not to me, because my Snapchat doesn't work.
Nick couldn't register.
Nope.
Unlucky. Right. Oh, there was a slight technological potential disaster there.
There's a technological potential disaster caused by Ben's feet.
There's something that shouldn't ever happen as well. Just to explain to everybody that cares, which is nobody, I just kicked an important piece of equipment and a wire came out of Nick Murphy's ear.
It's a high-quality professional...
Got a direct hard line into your own computer from your ear. Sounds a bit strange.
I connect to the internet directly. I may have a problem.
Are you also not a medical marvel then in that case? You should probably help science.
I'm a superhero. Yeah,
you're better than Cara
Jenkins.
You wear your pants on the inside.
I don't wear pants at all.
You don't wear any clothes at all. It always makes me a bit uncomfortable when we record these. But there you go. And Nicole C has now messaged the show and said hardline or hard.
What does that mean?
I like to think there's probably some kind of sexual reference.
She's done hard ... leaving it open to interpretation, but I don't know what to interpret.
Well, whether she meant it or not, being the people that we are, we've interpreted it as dirtily as possible.
Okay.
So rather than there's a hard line from you into your computer, there's something hard about you whenever...
she was saying about the hard line from the computer, from me, that.
Now it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's still not that funny, though. Come on, Nicole, bit better next time.
I think we're back on RedTube and Pornhub, but let's not dwell on that dangerous area. Anyway.
Can you all message in and tell us if you'd like Nicole C to be back here in the studio in the future?
Well, as much as I do want to know what the listeners think, I also think she should be back regardless, and I don't really care if everyone massively votes against her.
I think we have to take a straw poll.
Oh,
if she's not successful, then,
This is controversial, because a lot of people listening to the show won't know Nicole C. They may have heard her on her show about 6-8 weeks ago when she was on.
She was a guest
That was your
presenter
birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was an emotional time for us all.
Quite
do you know what, bizarrely, I found out? And call me someone that has too much time on their hands, but I've looked ahead on a calendar.
Whoa!
Your actual birthday was the day we recorded a show, which is a Monday night.
Yes.
My actual birthday in October, it's a Monday night.
Now we're doing it on Thursday.
It's a random one-off on a Thursday.
Are we going to not do this regularly on a Thursday? We're going to stick with our Monday nights.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Good, but I want Nicole C to do the radio show on my birthday as well.
Nicole Ann C loves you.
Does she?
She doesn't love all the people that are voting against her, though. Goodness me.
I mean, it's weird that you managed to set up that technological website there where you can get votes in instantly.
It costs like £5 to vote in, and people are doing it quite a lot, which is... I think I might get into trouble for this. None of that is true.
No, but Nicole C, feel free to come back to our show in a couple of weeks' time, and then also you have to promise to do it again on my birthday, otherwise I'll get jealous of Nick.
Nicole C's made a comment that she says, don't say out live on the radio, but it was funny.
It's weird to request not to say something on the radio, because it kind of, there's a small part of us, that mischievous part that just wants to say it then. But we won't. But we won't. But we can't.
But we might.
Shall we? No. There's been a few people messaging the show now, and
that's
just
exciting.
Excuse me while I actually take a look at some of the things that they've said.
I have a feeling that Cara Jenkins may have gone because she hasn't mentioned anything about my big head. So.
I think once we stopped talking about her pants, she lost interest.
She really did.
Unlucky, Cara. We've had another message from Nigel Boyle. After insulting the size of Nick's head, he's actually tried to start a heated debate, but it's not going to be a debate you like because it's football related. Although you have excelled yourself with Steven Gerrard.
Is it about Steven Gerrard?
No, now, I'll start talking about something. A lot of the listeners who like football will know. You may be in the dark, but let's see how you cope with this, all right?
Yeah.
Nigel Boyle has said, Ben, do you think Suarez will stay?
Oh, my God, that's the big canal. That Suarez Canal. You get on a boat, you go through the Suarez Canal.
No, that's the Suez Canal, isn't it, in Panama?
Suez is a footballer. I'm sorry.
Nigel said, do you think Suarez will stay? And Nick, you have to explain why. All right, in that case, I'm going to say...
I wouldn't know that. I've heard of Suarez.
Hang on, just wait there.
I don't know who he plays for, anything about him.
Nigel will enjoy this. I'm going to say I don't think Suarez will stay. I think he's made his feelings quite clear, and as soon as a player starts to say they want to leave, it's not looking good. And whilst I'm upset about that as a Liverpool fan, I think I'm going to have to cope with it. Nick, do you want to explain why he might go or stay?
Yeah, I think he'll go because a few years ago, Danny Murphy left, and I could go, Murphy, whenever he was playing.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Well, Joel Mellinger's made a very good point. I think, and he said that the Suez Canal's in Egypt, not Panama.
The Panama Canal's in Panama, isn't it?
That's what should have given it away, that the canal in Panama is called the Panama Canal.
You know, when you're recording a live radio show and then you listen back to it and you hear things you said that are wrong and you think, that's annoying, I was stupid there.
It never happens to me.
Oh, right, that's really, really good for you there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joel, for pointing that out. You've now made me slightly die inside with my lack of geographical knowledge.
Well, was it me or was it you that said about the Suez was in Panama?
No, it was me, but you...
All right, well, I'm glad then.
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad about it.
No, but yes, clearly the Suez Canal is not in Panama. That was the Panama Canal. I apologise to anybody that loves geography.
So I'm going to say Suarez is going to leave because of the manager situation. Does he not get on with the manager?
Now, you've missed something there quite important. I'm just going to say it because a lot of people listening will know, and then you can make your own comment on this, how you feel as a non-observer. A few weeks ago in a match where Liverpool played Chelsea, while the ball was about to be crossed in and Suarez was challenging for it, he was
so excited by this.
No, wait, you'll like this. He was tussling with a defender in the box.
We've all done that.
No, it's not dirty. And he bit the bloke's arm for no apparent reason. He sort of...
Well, he's an idiot, then.
Actually tried to take a chunk out of his arm. There was a big thing. It got massively... Heath says it got blown out of proportion in the papers. He got banned by the Football Association for 10 matches. Yeah. And now he's said because of his treatment by the English media and the Football Association, he might want to leave Liverpool and go to Real Madrid.
I think he should leave. I think that's disgraceful. You don't bite someone on the arm and then make out that you've been hard done by.
No, I completely agree. But the difficult thing for me as a Liverpool fan is he's our best player. He's one of the best players in the league. And therefore to let him go whilst we would get a lot of money for it is upsetting. Nicole C has just made a really good comment that says, OMG, no one cares.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome back in the studio in 2 weeks' time.
Nicole, whilst that may be your opinion, I put it to you that there are people listening to this show who do care.
No, let's move on. Cara Hero Jenkins has messaged to say that, is my messenger working? I'm panicking. Well, the last thing we heard from you on your messenger was that I sound very young. We haven't heard anything since.
No, if you've said other messages, then it's not working. If the last thing you said is my messenger working, then it's working. We got that one. Nicole C has just said, I bet someone has tussled in your box. She's getting quite flirty, a little bit dirty. I think it's fair to say I like it.
That's what Nicole Ann C does best.
That's what she brings to the show. Anyway, all marvellous. We've also had another message from Keith from Dartford.
Another message from Cara, but let's do
Keith from Dartford has gone back to the whole Suez, Panama Canal incident and said, ignorant, the Suez Canal connects the Red Sea and the Mediterranean.
Right. Has he just looked that up, or would he have known that straight away without having to check?
I think he may have known that because I know he has been to that part of the world before.
I think I would have said the Suez Canal's in Egypt, but I probably wouldn't have been able to say which seas it connected, which is a bit upsetting for me.
Yeah, there is a lot of geography I'm not aware of.
I'm pretty bad at it.
I know where most countries in the world are closely on a world map, if I had to guess.
I basically know most of my geography is based on computer games I played that are kind of world domination games, which is a little bit sad.
Why do you play a lot of games where you try and take over the world? You got a bit of a god complex going on there?
No, I've got a lot of a god complex. I'm quite seriously obsessed with taking over the world.
While we all contemplate and try and come to terms with Nick Murphy taking over the world, here's another random song. This is random. Is it? Yes.
Yesterday, it's everything has changed.
There we go, bit of Taylor Swift featuring Ed Sheeran. Everything has changed.
Performing on the Globe stage.
Who is?
That's one of my things I want to do before I die. I want to perform Shakespeare on the stage of Shakespeare's Globe in London.
Right, I thought you were saying that Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran were performing on the Globe stage.
I don't care about them. I have no idea who either of them are. They might as well be in the Suez Canal with Suarez and Gerrard, doing something with Britain's Got Talent. I don't understand any of it.
Right.
You introduced me to The Voice the other day, which to me seemed exactly like Britain's Got Talent, X Factor, and just made me think they're all a load of rubbish.
I think it's fair to say that I introduced you to The Voice the other day. You didn't like it. You aren't glad I introduced you to it.
Really hated it.
And for you
quite
to say
vitriolic about
they're all a load of rubbish, that's you holding back quite a bit, isn't it?
Yes, I'm trying not to swear on the radio, even though we are allowed to swear a little bit. I've sweared enough today. Sweared? I can't speak.
Do you remember the song by All For One in the 90s? That went, I swear by the moon and the stars in the sky.
Keep going.
I'll be there.
I think I remember it. Maybe do a bit more.
And I swear, like a shadow that's by your side.
Just keep going. It does sound familiar.
For better or worse, till death do us part. I'll love you with every...
Stop! Please.
You didn't think I could, you big bastard.
You've sworn.
Well, we get random songs on this show. There was a bonus a cappella one, and I'd like to apologise for it. We've got a few more messages to the show that it would be only fair to mention. Previous listener, hello once again to the legendary Eddie Bushell, who's got in touch and said that Suarez incident is one of the few football videos he's actually seen.
Right. Maybe I'll look at this. Eddie obviously isn't a big football fan like myself.
Yeah, you'd probably get on with him.
Yeah, nice one, Eddie. I'm glad you're listening to the show and not watching football. But I might look at the video.
More interestingly, he said, what are our views on Alpha Papa, the forthcoming Alan Partridge movie? movie. There's a petition up online to get the premiere screened in Norwich. Would you sign that? I would. I think that'd be
This is from a man who's based in
Norfolk, in the Norfolk area, yeah, absolutely. And clearly Alan Partridge is massively associated with Norwich. I think that'd be quite funny.
Yeah, it would.
They probably wouldn't get as many people and celebrities to it because it's in Norwich. But it's sort of, you associate Alan Partridge with Norwich.
You do. I think it'd be nice. Yeah, it would be nice.
Maybe they should do like a Leicester Square screening and a concurrent satellite link.
No, because you can't have Steve Coogan at both. I think they should have Norwich screening one night and then the big one at Leicester Square with the proper important people the following night.
I think that's slightly insulting the people of Norfolk, but I see where you're coming from.
But it's quite insulting them quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, and you don't seem to mind about that.
Well, they're all in Norfolk?
Well, they can't get here right now to attack you.
It's going to be hours.
Yeah, but they could start a petition.
There's no motorways go to Norfolk.
They could start a petition online to get you removed from public life.
I find that a really odd thing about Norwich. There's no motorways. It's a big city, quite major. There's just no motorways that entire side of the country. It's like,
there are train
links. We don't want to drive there quickly.
There's a dual carriageway. If you get behind a lorry and a lorry overtakes a lorry, you're in trouble for a long time.
Yeah, it doesn't happen on the motorway as much.
No. So, transport problems in Norwich. If you have been affected by those, like Eddie Bushell I'm sure has many times in his life, please get in touch with the show and let us know why the hell we're still talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. Football was more interesting.
And Eddie Bushell has ended that entire conversation just by saying sugar beet.
What's that got to do with anything?
I really don't know, but I feel that sort of...
Maybe sugar beets in the lorries that are stopping you get around Norfolk.
Maybe that bookends that conversation quite nicely.
I think it should. Let's move on to someone else.
Let's move on to Mark Gore, who's a regular listener to the show. Hello once again, you complete legend. I went to drama school with Mark. Not drama school with Mark.
You didn't go to drama school with him. I went to drama school with you.
Local theatre school.
Right.
Youth theatre. That's
youth
it.
theatre.
Why couldn't I think of the term? Youth theatre.
Lord.
And he was hilarious.
Well, less coherent on a Thursday.
I really am. Mark Gore was quite witty when I knew him back in the day, and he's just
He's got a lot worse.
He's shocked that we've been openly talking about Sue's Canal. He thought it was a family show. I'd like to say, Mark, that it is broadcast quite late at night. In no way have we ever called ourselves a family show.
No, no families should ever listen to us. That's what I say.
And if there is anyone called Sue listening to the show who has had problems in that area, don't get in touch. We don't want to hear about it.
But I wouldn't mind a punt down your canal, love.
What if she's had root canal work done recently? Is that... It's not as offensive, is it?
No, but it's enjoyably painful for her.
Enjoyably painful.
It's enjoyable for me, painful for her.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy Sue being in pain. I've never liked her.
Yeah. Or a bloody canal. You could just shove off, Sue. But thanks for that, Mark. That's absolutely awesome. Any more messages to the show?
Nicole C was getting quite into your singing, I think. She said the beat of my heart and I swear.
I like to think she was harmonising with me right there. And when she's in the studio... I know we shouldn't go back to previous broadcasts, but it would be quite nice to recreate that.
We've no idea what we're going to say, but I'm going to say this. We know exactly what you two are going to sing.
I think
you
it could
will be singing it, Nicole. Get ready for this.
Future Christmas number 8, Nicole. That's what I'm going for. That's on my bucket list.
We've had a few more messages.
That's in my bucket list.
To
get
done.
A number 8 record.
Number 8 record. With Nicole C or without her?
Either I'd be happy with. I'd be happier if she was on it, obviously, but I'm not. It's not going off my list if she's not involved.
I don't want her singing on my record, but I wouldn't mind her dancing around, sort of, you know.
I wouldn't mind her playing the tambourine on my record.
That's
not a euphemism.
No. Let's move on to Cara Jenkins has messaged back in again. She's obviously been listening to the show quite a lot this evening. I was complaining that she seemed to have disappeared, but
yeah.
She said she was moisturising and couldn't type, and that I have a... well, I can't say exactly what she said, but let's just say she thinks I've got a large head. She's saying she's sliding around everywhere. She wants to know if my hair's as big and flouncy as it was before, because when I worked with Cara, I had quite long hair.
Oh, wow. You went through that whole stage in your life where you grew your hair for a couple of years.
I grew my hair for a couple of years and cut it quite shortly after I think I left when I'd worked with Cara. So I don't have anything. My hair's quite short now, I would go as far to say.
And as one of your best friends, I feel like I can say this, but whilst I appreciate you wanted to grow your hair long to see how it felt and what it looked like, and you could then be considered for some different acting parts to normal, I think your hair looks a lot better shorter.
It's remarkable how many of my friends share your opinion. I really liked my long hair. No one else did. She also says she's covered in cocoa butter, so I suggested, did she taste nice? And she said no, she's just licked her arm and it tasted like an almond, not cocoa butter.
If Suarez had licked her arm, we might have taken a chunk out of it, cocoa butter or otherwise.
Speaking of Suarez again, I should mention that Nigel Boyle apparently just Suarez'd his wife.
I really hope that's not a sort of sexual euphemism, and he does mean he just bit her arm. Although I
hope it's a sexual euphemism.
We've just had another message from Keith Simmons saying, is Cara Jenkins really Adam Jenkins? I think we should let Keith from Dartford know that she definitely isn't.
I can guarantee
Adam Jenkins
100% that Cara Jenkins
There's a very good reason Nick can prove that, but we're not going to go into that live on the air.
No.
He's just seen them both together at the same time.
Cara says I'm a moonhead. Or maybe she says that about you, I'm not sure. It's not clear.
Yeah. Just appropriately, now you've been talking about cocoa butter, Cara Jenkins, and her being covered in cocoa butter, Nicole C has called you, actually said to you, don't be a perv, and said, shame you're bald.
Why was I being a perv?
I think it was the whole dressed in a tambourine potential talk,
which,
is slightly pervy.
It was slightly pervy.
But then she's insulted you, which must make you upset.
Send us a Snapchat of you just wearing a tambourine, and just so we can double check whether it's pervy or
not. I don't think that makes you any less of a perv.
It's a Snapchat,
it just makes me want to join in the being a perv.
She'd have to send it to your phone, so stop saying it's a bad idea. I'm not bald now. That's very rude of her.
Can we just say that I think we need a little bit extra clarification on this, but Eddie Bushell has been in touch again and said, my unborn child is loving this bollocks, really wriggling around. Now, I'm hoping that his wife Naomi is next to him. Otherwise, there is a really strange medical procedure that has happened to someone in Norfolk, and that's not doing a lot to get rid of the Norfolk stereotypes and sort of strangeness going on over there that people think that I don't in any way at all believe in. But we're glad your unborn child is loving it. And would you let your actual born child, who must be about, how old is she now? About 2 or 3, Lexi? Would you let her listen to this bollocks? Probably not the word bollocks, because it would be inappropriate for a young child, so don't. Cover her ears, Eddie, for God's sake. Have you had any more messages we can mention?
Nothing on mine. Well, Cara Jenkins has just pointed out, in the strongest of terms, I'd like to mention that her name is not Adam, and she's explained why it isn't, but we can't go into that. So Keith,
well, she's just talked about the body part that she has that makes her female rather than male.
Keith from Dartford, she's not Adam Jenkins.
And she's not Jessica Jenkins either. She's Cara Hero Jenkins, who wears pants on the outside.
Adam and Jess, bizarrely enough, are supervillains. So,
are they?
Yeah.
Are they your nemesis?
Not my nemesis, no.
Well, whose nemesis are they?
Other superheroes?
If you're a supervillain, there must be a hero that you're constantly trying to thwart.
Sure there is, but I don't keep track of them all.
Right, fair enough. Eddie Bushell said that his daughter Lexi is 2.5, and she says bollocks all the time when she drops her keys.
Hang on, Eddie Bushell's 2.5-year-old daughter has keys?
I think it's a joke, and maybe...
It's not very clear, Eddie. Just because you don't watch football, don't start coming in with your jokes that aren't clear on a radio show.
Yeah.
I remember, and I might have even mentioned this before, my niece when she's young, she's 10 now, when she was about 3 and she sort of started speaking, they lived in a house with a lot of fields behind them. She could see a fox. She scared her grandma because she was trying to point out that there was a fox in the field. She couldn't really say the X of fox. So she went, Grandma, fuck, Grandma, fuck. That was how she said fox. And as you could probably understand, that sounds a bit like a very rude word.
Did that cause any problems later on when Samantha Fox came to prominence?
She didn't come to prominence later on. Although we did see her at the Isle of Wight Festival, so I like to think that's brought it all nicely in.
Did you say to her, hello Samantha, you're an ex-Page 3 model who's now a lesbian?
I think she knew.
She knew already she was a lesbian?
She was fairly certain.
Well, thank goodness for that. Here's another random song where we all try to come to terms with what I just said.
I think we need to.
If I go hard, let me...
There we go there, bit of Jessie J and Wild. That was our final random song of the evening. Are you feeling wild?
I am now, actually. Now I've heard Jessie J's song.
Are you one of those people that thinks Jessie J hasn't released a good song since Domino?
No, she hasn't eaten a good pizza since Domino. Is that the same? Is Jessie J that weird one with the shaved head on The Voice?
Oh, Nick and Popular Culture. Yes,
that was Jessie J. She sounded like an idiot.
Whenever
she spoke, like when she sang then, it sounded fine.
Yeah.
When she spoke on The Voice, she sounded like a total idiot.
That's your opinion.
Right, you have when you see people writing sort of on Facebook with bad grammar and in a weird accent, you get upset and think they're idiots. I think Jessie J sounded like one.
I think Aria Esther Carrier agrees with you and says Jessie J and all of her songs are the most annoying things on earth.
I wouldn't go that far, but certainly top 17.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to agree with you on that because there are parts of Jessie J that I like, mainly her shoulders and her left earlobe. But yeah, I accept that other people may find her annoying, or in their top 17 annoying things in the world. Slightly unbelievably, we've only got about 5 minutes for this broadcast left. And
that's gone very quickly.
It's literally flown by. And whilst I don't want to make the regular Monday crowd feel upset, I've enjoyed a Thursday evening.
Yeah, I think we've had a nice crowd on Thursday. It's felt good. The atmosphere's been fun. And I think,
the atmosphere's been electric, mainly because in your flat there's a lot of exposed wires and I'm slightly worried about touching anything.
Yeah. We don't know what we're going to say. We've got no idea what we're going to say, and we don't even know when we're going to do the show. So.
It really is the least prepared show in the world. Oh, that's not going to work. For those of you that are interested in any way, we're both working on Monday night, and therefore it's impossible for us to broadcast
we can't do the show
at our regular time.
It's a charity event.
Yes, it is.
We're doing improvised comedy at the Battersea Barge as part of a charity comedy night, so do come along to see us in that. As I say, it's on Monday the 24th of June. Starts at 7:30.
Battersea Barge.
So
tickets
Google that.
are available. Don't know how much they are.
Yeah, if you want to come and see us at the zoo, we're there every Friday through to August the 12th. Although you're not there at the last 3 Fridays, are you? But I am.
No, so
I'm there every Friday from now until August the 12th. August the 2nd. Beg your pardon.
That's right. And you've still got a month if you want to see me there. So I'll be there for the next 4.
Your tickets ahead though, because they usually sell out on the day.
Yeah, Zoo Lates is a very popular event.
Aria Carrier asks if we usually do Tuesdays. She doesn't understand, does she? We normally do Mondays, Aria Carrier. You've listened to us on many times.
She was so incensed about Jessie J, she forgot to listen to us talking about Mondays.
Yep, she was annoyed. She was annoyed. Also annoyed that she can't remember what days were on.
She's just still excited about the fact that her first name and last name rhyme.
She does bloody love that. Yeah.
Are there any other listeners to the show whose first and last names rhyme? Possibly not.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's a very rare occurrence. But well done, Aria. And I suppose we ought to thank all the people that have been in touch with our show in this last hour.
Can you remember them?
I can remember quite a lot of them. I just want to say it again. So thanks to Alex Kaffet-Zoglu.
You're very good at that.
I haven't mentioned him. He did message the show. I think he's one of the few people that actually tweeted the show. But we need to say...
We've got a tweet. To be fair to say, we do say that you can contact us on Twitter. We don't often listen to it, look at it.
Listen to it?
Yeah, we don't listen to it. No, we don't listen to it.
We probably should listen to it more because Twitter's really good for listening to. We do have to say hello to Duncan Borrett, who regularly gets in touch with us on Twitter, and I think he's done it once again, although I've failed to find his exact post, but he did ask us to promote something for him, and I can't remember what it is, so apologies to Duncan. I'll have to mention that next time, even though I've got no idea what I'm going to say. So Alex and Duncan, Keith in Dartford once again, Ross and Sophie in Ryde on the Isle of Wight. We've got to thank Nicole Ansey, always flirty. She did Snapchat us. I think we've Snapchatted her back, but that's always slightly pleasurable. Eddie Bushell and his daughters and daughter Lexi, and unborn child, and his wife Naomi as well. They're all listening.
Do we know if it's a boy or a girl, the unborn child? Eddie, let us know.
Eddie, you've got about a minute and a half to let us know before we go off the air, and we will tell everybody else. Mark Gore, always hilarious. And he has sent another message. I almost missed it there, Mark. He owns Samantha Fox's seminal classic Touch Me (brackets I Want Your Body), released in 1986. It's next to the only other singles I own: Joe Taxi by Vanessa Paradis, Star Trekking, and the Pontins Crocodile Club song. I think
only one of those is any good.
I still think that's an exciting collection of music.
Pontins.
Yeah. Eddie Bushell has said, don't know the sex. I hope he doesn't just mean he doesn't know what he's doing in bed.
One of two, he hopes.
Yes.
Thanks to Ari Esther Carrier, if you didn't already do that. Lauren DeCosta, obviously, and
Lauren
the amazing
DeCosta,
Cara Hero Jenkins, who's been keeping us entertained all the way through the show from the beginning.
Absolutely. And don't forget, Lauren DeCosta, you owe Nick 1p a year for the next 100 years if he lives to 130.
Laney and Nigel Ball, did we mention... Ball? Laney and Nigel
Bobby Ball is listening. Brilliant.
Laney and Nigel Boyle, who are listening. Keith in Dartford, of course.
Yeah.
Who were the people from Ride?
Ross and Sophie, I did mention them.
Yeah,
so it's all been entirely pleasurable. And well done, Nigel, for Suarezing Laney, which is one of my favourite euphemisms.
I went on a cage with a bungee attached to it with Nigel, and I liked it.
Did you swear while you were in the air?
Very much.
OK, it's over to Nick Murphy to bring the last 10 seconds to a close. You're all legends. I love you all. See you in just over 2 weeks.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ben. Yes, it's been a fantastic show, very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to being back in 2 weeks, hopefully with Nicole C. But from us, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.